Yo, what is up, guys? It's your boy Sebastian, or you could just call me Sebas. And today we are back with the group stages, number 2. This time, it's kind of weird now that since the World Cup is like kind of affecting a lot of the leagues and the fixtures between the Champions League and like the regular top 5 leagues. We have the back-to-back weeks of Champions League. And last week there was the group stage number 1 when there was a lot of good victories, a lot of pretty salty defeats, and surprising, shocking upsets. Overall, I think I did pretty well on my predictions. There's a couple that I did not get right, but we'll try to do the same thing here. Same deal, Leo. We're going to take a guesses on Tuesdays and Wednesdays since the big games happen on those days. And we're just going to give our predictions and then, yep, see how it goes. Let's go on to the very first fixture. For our very first fixture, it's going to be the Tuesday slate of games. We have Victoria Pilsen taking on Inter Milan. Both teams did lose last week's game. Inter losing to Bayern Munich 2-0 and Victoria Pilsen losing to Barcelona 5-1. Robert Lewandowski having a pretty terrific campaign so far with that hat trick. You can see the previous defeats. Inter not on a really good place, and they are playing at Victoria Pilsen, so it's going to be pretty interesting how they roll. I saw a lot of interesting stuff during the Bayern Munich or during the Barcelona game, in which Victoria Pilsen were like I think 34 games undefeated. They like drew 5 and then they won like 29 games, and then they went to go ahead and play against Barcelona and then they lost. So it's weird how that's gonna affect a lot how it heads here. Naturally, I think they are the underdogs like usual. They're going to be playing against top teams within their different countries, and they're going to be playing Inter this week. Although Inter is coming out as pretty weak, losing 2-0 to Bayern Munich, but it's Bayern Munich, so it's a really tough team. It's hard to say. Victoria didn't convince me at all, and Milan did not convince me at all. Both teams are pretty like on a slugfest right now, so I believe Milan wins this. Let's go with the 2-1 victory on Milan. Victoria Pilsen, I don't think they could compete with these higher up teams, so it should be a no-brainer that Inter wins this game. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a draw, but very hard to see that though. But Inter Milan takes the victory more comfortably, 2-1. Let's go on to the next one. Group D starting games with Sporting CP taking on Tottenham Hotspurs. Both teams did come out victorious in their previous group or in group fixture 1, with Sporting defeating Frankfurt 3-0 and then Tottenham defeating Marseille 2-0, I think, with a double of Emerson. Yeah, I remember that. The stats ain't loading up, but oh well. Thinking like just based on memory, it's gonna be a pretty tough game. They are playing at the Estadio Jose Alvalade. I can't even pronounce it. Lisbon. So in Sporting, since they play in Portugal. But other than that, I think Tottenham, they continue their pretty well slate on this Champions League. They should win their group respectfully, and then probably Sporting being right behind them. If not, Frankfurt takes the edge. But it should be a pretty comfortable win for Tottenham. I mean, both teams look really good. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a draw. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I'm more convinced of a draw. Maybe a 3-3 or 2-2 would be like a shootout. But I'm gonna commit with the draw. Sporting CP hosting the game, have a little upper advantage there, and with their fan base supporting them, should be giving them the extra edge to force the draw against Tottenham. But it should be a 2-2 draw. Keeps the group interesting. But let's keep going on. On we have Group A, Liverpool hosting Ajax. Liverpool having one of the biggest upsets they had last week, losing to Napoli 4-1. They look like just a disaster of a team. They didn't look like the Liverpool that the team knows. But I predicted this to happen because Liverpool's doing pretty bad in the Premier League as well. They've started off the new season pretty bad. They need to recover. If not, it's gonna affect them a lot. They're probably gonna head back to the Europa League at this pace. And then Ajax, I do believe they did win. I can't remember who they played last week, but they are playing at Anfield, so maybe that gives Liverpool upper up. But if Liverpool needs to win a game, it needs to be this Tuesday against Ajax to wake up. And whether it affects them a lot, they did not play last week because of the passing of Queen Elizabeth, so the Premier League decided to suspend the games, and Liverpool will having no games played. Their last game played was Napoli, so it's not looking too good for them, and they need to wake up. They need to win this game in order for them to, actually have a chance in this Champions League. If not, then everything's gonna start going downhill. Mohamed needs to score some goals, or just the midfield. I saw some clips of Trent Alexander just standing still like a robot. He's not scoring, he's not defending, he's not putting in the effort, and without the effort, you're not going to win games. Ajax on the other side, they did lose a couple players, but I don't think that's stopping them from playing pretty well in this Champions League. They should still be perfectly fine. If anything, I think they'll probably beat Liverpool the way Liverpool is playing. So more comfortably, I believe it's going to be probably like a 3-2 win, 3-1. Consider that Liverpool can barely score. So Liverpool need to fix their slate of losing. Ajax just keep doing Ajax things, and they're going to make it to the round of 16. But let's go on. Continue on, we have Porto taking on Club Brugge. I think if I remember correctly, I don't remember like these matches right here, but Porto and Club Brugge did win their game. No, they lost. Porto lost to Atletico Madrid in like that crazy fest of 2-1 in the extra time, and then Club Brugge, I think they did win. I think they played Bayern Leverkusen if I remember. So Bayern wasn't doing that pretty well, but I mean, I'll just keep this very short. I'm not very familiar with both of these teams, but it does shape out the way how the group stage is going to look out. Both teams did winning, so whoever wins this has a big chance on winning the group, or like actually potentially having competition with Atletico Madrid. So it's going to be interesting how that goes. But other than that, I actually believe, or actually Porto lost, so I don't know. It's hard to see with the Club Brugge. It's hard to like pinpoint, but you can see the head-to-head. Porto has a slight advantage over Club Brugge, so that probably gives them a bit of a more victorious lead. But I'm going to continue on with the tie slate. I think this is going to be another tie in the Champions League. All these games are pretty competitive, and both teams are pretty solid. So I'll go with the tie, perhaps a 1-1, or maybe just a 0-0. I won't exaggerate. It's pretty hard to see how both teams would do, but Porto has the advantage of playing at home. So we'll see how they do, but a 1-1 draw. Let's keep going. Group B, we have Bayern Leverkusen taking on Atletico de Madrid. Leverkusen losing their last game against Club Brugge, and then Atletico Madrid beating Porto in extra time, in stoppage time. So it's pretty interesting how Atletico won that game. There was nothing happening in the first beginning 90 minutes. So, and then Leverkusen's just not playing very well. As you can see, the previous matchups in Europe games, I mean, our European competition, they haven't been doing that great. So it's hard to see them actually pulling the victory against Atletico, but they are hosting the game, so that gives them a slight advantage. Atletico Madrid, just if they play their style, Simeone's arguably one of like the most consistent coaches in Europe right now, in Spain, to be honest. So it's hard to see them losing this game. I don't see Leverkusen winning, maybe a slight draw, but if anything, I think Atletico takes this game more comfortably. Maybe it's gonna be like a 3-1 victory, but I don't see a way Atletico loses this game. As long as they play their game, their forms, they're gonna be fine, and they should be the group leaders of their group. Atletico Madrid takes this victory 3-1. Good luck to Leverkusen. They need to step it up. It's just like another Liverpool, but we'll see what happens on Tuesday. Let's keep going. The biggest game that we have this week on the Champions League is Bayern Munich taking on Barcelona. Both teams are doing pretty well. Oh my god, you can see the head-to-head. Bayern Munich has just complete control over Barcelona. It's been absolutely atrocious for Barcelona. But to give the advantage towards Barcelona, they've been looking more consistently like Bayern Munich, and that's comparing them both on their leagues. Barcelona yet to lose a game. So is Bayern Munich, but Bayern Munich has drawn 3 times in their league. Barcelona drawn 1 and they won 4. Bayern Munich, they're still on top of their group, but it's going to be very interesting how Bayern plays out with this new Barcelona. They did lose Robert Lewandowski. Barcelona having Robert Lewandowski, he's scoring a hat-trick in the previous game, and he did score against Cadiz. It's going to be pretty interesting how this game plays out, but if this is a game to have redemption, it's this game. Like, this game has to be the redemption game for Barcelona and get on track to actually win this group, because in their previous 3 years, Bayern Munich completely destroyed Barcelona, and Barcelona should feel humiliated for that. So they're playing at Bayern, they're playing at Munich, so it's going to be pretty interesting how that plays out. But it's so hard for me to say. It's hard for me to say, but just to put my predictions out there, I think Barcelona wins. I think they finally get the redemption, but it's going to be very close. I believe it's going to be a 3-2 game. Barcelona takes his win. I don't believe it's going to be a tie. One or the other has to win. There's just no tie. So if anything, I'm going to put Barcelona, have my fate with them. They get the redemption game, and it's on Tuesday. Very exciting matchup for the Tuesday slate, but let's go on to the very last game. Cap up the Tuesday slate of games, we have Marseille taking on Frankfurt. Both teams did losing pretty bad last week. Marseille losing to Tottenham and Frankfurt losing to Sporting CP. It's going to be very hard how these two play out. These two are basically the teams that are fighting for our 3rd and 4th, although maybe the rankings better, but I think these both teams head to Europa League, so it's going to be pretty hard for me to actually give a fair balanced scale. But if anything, I actually favor Frankfurt a little bit more. I think they should be using their energy more towards winning the Europa League as like true contenders to play. So, but unfortunately, they did lose to that routing of 3-0 against Sporting, and that's like dropped the confidence level for Frankfurt. So it's hard for me to like fully grade these two teams. Marseille did losing 2-0 to Tottenham. They are hosting the game, so that probably gives them a slight advantage. But if anything, this is probably another tie, maybe a 1-1, maybe a 0-0. Both teams are having a pretty bad Europa campaign so far. They need to step it up, but it's gonna be a draw. My prediction is gonna be a draw, 1-1. And let's go head on to the Wednesday slate of games. Starting off the Saturday slate, we have AC Milan taking on Dynamo Zagreb. Milan drawing with Red Bull Salzburg, I think, and then Dynamo Zagreb beating Chelsea. So it's very interesting how Dynamo progresses this. They should use the momentum of beating Chelsea to actually beat Milan, and if they do beat Milan, Dynamo Zagreb has a great chance on winning the group. They're not a team to be taken light enough, and Milan needs to have actually a game plan to play against Dynamo Zagreb. Although Chelsea has been kind of slumping it recently, it's hard for it to like base off the victory off Chelsea. It's like you ask two questions: did Chelsea lose that game, or did Dynamo Zagreb win that game? I guess you could base off that Chelsea lost that game because they're not playing to their full potential, but it takes time. Unfortunately, Tuchel got sacked, and they got their new head coach, or the new manager. His name was Potter. I forgot his first name, but it's interesting to see. This is not about Chelsea. Interesting about this game, Milan, Dynamo Zagreb. Should be very interesting. Milan having the advantage playing at home, and that probably gives me the momentum to actually choose them to win this game. It should be maybe a 2-1 win. I won't give Dynamo Zagreb the slack. I think they actually put up a fight and probably have a good chance of actually winning this game. But personally, I think the prediction for mine is going to be a 2-1. Milan takes the game more comfortably. We'll see how it goes on Tuesday. It's going to be very interesting. Let's keep on. We have two teams. I'm not too familiar with these both teams, Celtic and Shakhtar. I know Celtic lost to Real Madrid, but it's Real Madrid. And then Shakhtar Donetsk, I'm not sure if they won or not. So this is Group F. I'll probably get a memory once we get to the other matchup between Real Madrid and whoever is in their group. But it's going to be interesting how these two teams play. I think these both teams are actually just playing to get the better seeding for Europa League, like in the other games. But it's going to be interesting. Shakhtar hosting the game. Maybe gets at the slight advantage. Pretty unfamiliar with both these teams. But I know Shakhtar's been fighting in the Champions League, and they probably have a shot to actually beat Celtic. Celtic's not looking too amazing, losing that pretty big to Real Madrid. But benefit of the doubt is Real Madrid. So probably Shakhtar takes his victory. Or I'm just going to slap up another draw here. I'm familiar, just probably just slap a draw. 1-1, a 2-2 victory or draw between both teams. And they both just shape out like the bottom half of the Group F. But yeah, a draw. Let's keep on. For Group A, we have Rangers taking on Napoli. Rangers hosting the game. I'm not sure who they lost to. I'm pretty sure they lost, but I can't remember who they lost to. Short-term memory. And then Napoli having that amazing win over Liverpool gives them the really big upper hand to actually win the group now. So it's gonna be hard to see Rangers. Rangers probably wins last place in the group. It's hard to compete against Liverpool and then Ajax, and then you got Napoli now. So it's going to be hard. If Rangers could pull out the upset against Napoli, then maybe they have a shot. But if Napoli continues the way they're playing and confidently, they're going to have a really good time and head on to the round of 16 with no with no trouble. This is go trouble. I'm dumb today, but that doesn't matter. Napoli takes a victory more comfortably. I believe they continue their run and they win 3-0. Shutout in this game for the first time in the Champions League. Let's keep going. Heading on Group E for match number 2, we have Chelsea taking on Salzburg. Chelsea going through that big slump that I was complaining on or ranting on earlier, and in Salzburg pretty consistently they did tie with Milan, so I guess I'm a little slight advantage holding up within the group. Chelsea hosting the game at Stamford Bridge, so it's gonna be interesting how that plays out. But Chelsea plays like the slump they're playing right now. They're not winning any games, but I mean it's gonna be exciting seeing the new manager play for Chelsea. I see the new tactics and whatnot, how they go. Pierre Aubameyang, seeing if they could finally get going with Chelsea. It's gonna be interesting how they go. Salzburg, I'm not too familiar with the team, but I know they did tie with Milan, so it gives them, I guess, like a 1-up. But I'm gonna just stick with another tie here. You know, these two teams have really big questions. I can't really base everything on Chelsea. Chelsea's been losing a lot of games, so it's gonna be interesting how this game goes as well. Kind of shapes out Group E as well. But I'll just stick with another draw. Chelsea don't get fixed, and they just commit another draw and start off like pretty bad in their own group. And let's go with like a 2-2. Get some goals in there, but it's gonna ultimately end up in a draw. And yeah, let's keep going. Getting on to Group F, it was Leipzig as the final group member, so it's good to know. I'm not sure they beat Shakhtar, so it's gonna be. I don't. It's like so much in my head, so hard to remember. But just head on to the predictions. Real Madrid takes on Leipzig. They're playing at the Santiago Bernabeu. It's gonna be a pretty easy prediction. Real Madrid. Every time I watch them play, they actually never lose in the Santiago Bernabeu, and I don't believe they'll lose a game in their group. They have a pretty well-balanced group, and then they should be taking the group stage pretty comfortably and heading into the round of 16 as the number one in their group. It's gonna be interesting how it goes, but Real Madrid probably continues on. They're the only team undefeated in this campaign, the 2022 campaign. So it's gonna be interesting how that goes. And Real Madrid takes this game more comfortably, probably another 4-1, because they've been scoring a lot of 4 goals recently. Vinicius has been going pretty ham, and it all depends about Hazard finally getting the opportunity now that Benzema is out with the ankle injury. So it's gonna be interesting how that goes. But Real Madrid takes this game more comfortably, 4-1. Nothing more said, but let's keep going. We have an interesting game here in Group G. We have Manchester City taking on Borussia Dortmund. They're playing at Manchester, the Etihad. So it's gonna be pretty interesting how this goes. I think everything's interesting, as you can believe. Everything that comes out, I say it's interesting. But in reality, I think Man City actually just cruises against Dortmund. Dortmund did lose against Leipzig in their league on Saturday, so that's probably gonna give them a down. Man City not playing, so they don't have that game advantage. But I think Man City continues in form. Erling Haaland is just going off with the new team, and I don't think he holds back on his former team. But if anything, I expect him to score some goals. But Man City should win this really comfortably. I think they're on pace to win their group again and continue on pretty well. It just depends how they play. But Dortmund, they don't seem as strong. But it's just, if anything, it's just Man City with the bigger team. But Man City probably wins it comfortably 3-1. Let's go on. Now we're getting to the interesting and nitpicky games. We have Copenhagen taking on Sevilla. Both teams really slugging it, having a pretty bad campaign. Sevilla, they're not doing too well in the Liga. They're doing pretty bad in the Champions League. And Copenhagen could say the same. If anything, these two are probably the teams that are heading to the Europa League. Dortmund and Man City just a little too strong for them. So if anything, these guys are just competing for the, like I said, the Europa League. It shouldn't be a crazy game, but if anything, give the copium to Copenhagen and actually have them a pretty good win. If we were to win their first game, it's against Sevilla right here in this Champions League game. They play on Wednesday. They are even hosting the game as well, so interesting how this goes. But Copenhagen, Sevilla, they probably draw, but I'm gonna be voting for Copenhagen. Let's keep going. We're at the very end of the Champions League for the fixture number 2. We just got to finish up Group H, and we have Juventus taking on Benfica. Two interesting teams. Juventus did lose to PSG 2-1. It was a pretty interesting game. I keep on saying interesting. I need to relax. And then Benfica winning against Haifa. So it's Benfica on a pretty 5-win streak so far in the European competition. Juventus not doing too hot, but I think they regained. They are hosting the game. They're playing at Turin. So Juventus probably regains in the game and gets herself on track to win second place, because it's going to be hard to compete against PSG. But Juventus gets in track here, and they should probably win. I'm not going to say comfortably. It should be a hard-fought battle, but Juventus probably wins 3-2, 4-3. Keep the goal scoring pretty high. And it's going to be interesting how Juventus plays. But let's go on to the final match. And the Champions League fixture 2, we have Haifa taking on PSG. Haifa hosting the game at Sami Al-Khor Stadium. It's a cool name, I guess, but I'm really unfamiliar with Haifa. Actually, it's the first time I'm hearing about this club, so it's actually pretty cool having them in the Champions League, because getting to know what different clubs and what country they play in. But it shouldn't be a hard prediction. The biggest upset, PSG ties against this team, because PSG should be just cruising with these games. PSG wins this game pretty comfortably. If anything, it should be a blowout win. But if Haifa wants to probe an upset and get on the headlines, it's on Wednesday to beat PSG. But I just don't see it happening. PSG's looking too strong right now, and the way Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe are connecting with each other, they are true contenders. But it all depends if they don't choke. They just gotta stay committed, and they're gonna win games. Haifa, I can't really say the same, but good luck to you. PSG wins, and let's go on to the conclusion. A lot of really good games playing on Tuesday. It's gonna be very hard to see which team wins. Favoritism, probably PSG takes the win. The guarantee win is that PSG wins. I keep on stuttering, but Other than that, Bayern Munich and Barcelona is probably the biggest game this week, so make sure to watch that game. It's gonna be interesting how both teams went out. It's gonna be a fun game. I see it to be a really high scoring game, and I'm ready to watch the game. It's gonna be very fun. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be at school, so I won't actually watch the game, but I'm gonna be on my phone, just having the highlights ready. But that's gonna conclude this fixture for the Champions League. Good luck to all the teams, and let's hope for very good games. But if anything, my name is Sebastian. You guys could just call me Sebas. This is my take for the predictions for this week's hot takes. Well, not hot takes, but the Champions League. Let's hope for pretty good matchups, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. The predictions for the NFL. Let's keep on going those. Let's just do it. Let's do our magic. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.